For the longest time, while owning a pet chameleon, I'd struggled immensely with the task of feeding it. As it turns out, for almost the first 6 months of owning a chameleon, I was feeding it too little in general, and my chameleon wasn't getting the right kind of nutrients. Although it has still led me today, knowing how to feed a chameleon is absolutely crucial to its survival. Chameleons' lives are pretty much based around getting the correct amount of nutrients, so knocking even one of the nutrients out of balance could disrupt the entire cycle. Today I'm going to show you how to, or tell you how to correctly feed a chameleon, all the basics, and how to selecting their food, feeding, when to feed them, basing their food on the mood of the chameleon, the feeding techniques, other necessary nutrients, and more. So first, what you need to know about selecting the food is chameleons can eat a variety of things. Chameleons can eat basically any bugs and even fruits. They mainly eat crickets. That's the main source of food. Everybody likes feeding chameleons crickets. That they get the most nutrients from crickets as well. But other good food choices that are staple are mealworms and fruit flies. Yeah, fruit flies. There are you can feed them other things as well, like house flies, even spiders. Bugs around the house are fun to feed your chameleon, but you shouldn't feed your chameleon those kind of house pests as a staple food source. You should get flies and mealworms. Those are the two main ones. And for feeding chameleons during the right time of the day, really it's just based around when you want to feed the chameleon. Like, if you want to feed the chameleon in the morning or at night, it doesn't matter. But you should mainly feed them. If you're going to feed them in the morning, make it consistent. You feed it every morning instead of some mornings and some nights. But you only feed a chameleon once a day, especially when it's fully grown. Feeding it too much could lead to some health problems. Feeding it based around the mood of the chameleon is important because the mood of the chameleon shows what the chameleon like. That's important. If the chameleon is sad or if it's ill, it won't eat, and that's when you need to go to the doctor or the vet. Christopher V. Anderson tells us that when chameleons turn dark, it indicates stress, which can mean your chameleon is sick, and that means it probably won't eat well, and you need to go to a vet to get that. So yeah, basing your food around the chameleon's mood is crucial. For feeding techniques, there are lots of ways you could go about it. Some popular techniques are using a cup to catch bugs and feeding it in the cup. I use this kind of cup. I just put bugs in the bottom of the cup and then I put it up to the chameleon. About 6 crickets is what I usually do. And then Archie, my chameleon, he eats crickets out of the cup. But other ways you could do it is you could put them in the cage, and then that makes the chameleon hunt for it, and it's pretty good because it gives them exercise and also stimulates what they do in the wild. But also another important factor to take into consideration, speaking about nature and how they act in the wild, the chameleons usually live in tropical deserts or tropical areas. So PetSmart informs us that during the day, chameleon cages should be around 70 to 80 degrees and around 80 to 85 degrees or heat or basking spots. And this is important because if it's not warm enough, the chameleon won't eat, and then it'll get unhealthy and probably die. So that's very important as well. For other necessary nutrients, this is where I messed up in the past. I didn't give my chameleon very good nutrients. I was giving him the wrong kind of nutrients every day. There are multivitamins and calcium supplement, and you're supposed to give him calcium. I'm sorry for assuming the gender. You give your chameleon calcium supplements once every week, and then you give him the multivitamin once a month. That's important. If you switch those two around, it'd mean bad problems for your chameleon. And as for water goes, what you usually do, you could have a dripping system in your chameleon cage, and then the chameleon will drink out of that. It doesn't look like the chameleon drinks, but it does. But what I do is I spritz the water with a watering can like that. I just spritz it around, and if you miss the area, then it drinks the droplets. Don't put a bucket in there, because then it doesn't drink out of that. It just sees it as a part of the cage. And for other tips, just like don't feed your chameleon in the middle of the night, like, because then I guess that should go in the first category, but it won't eat then. It's sleeping, so don't do that. And as I said earlier about feeding them pets around the house, those can be dangerous sometimes, but most of the time they're fine. Like if you find a fly, you can feed that to chameleon. It's kind of fun to watch and eat. And but if you find like a tarantula, obviously don't feed that to him, or a wasp, don't feed that to your chameleon. And you should look at the bug first to see if it's poisonous before feeding it to chameleon. And for supplementation, we know that from Leon McLeod that if chameleons aren't given a correct supplementation, it could lead to metabolic bone disease. So keep that in mind as well. And to wrap this all up, in my own personal experience, I've seen the horrific effects of malnourishment of a chameleon, the glorious rehabilitation of a chameleon that deserved that knew more. Knowing how, when, where, and what to feed a chameleon is crucial for the chameleon's survival. So I leave you with this. Try not to be like me. Don't make the same mistakes I made. Don't put your chameleon through what I've wrongfully put my chameleon through. It deserves better. It deserves an owner who knows what they're doing. Sorry I don't have my chameleon with me to show you for the demonstration. He's somewhere else right now, but I'm showing you a video of him catching a fly to better your understanding of how he eats. Also, sorry the camera angle is so bad. This is an older video.